Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So today, in this video, we are going to continue programming our SAS application using Data Button. So, obviously this is an advanced part where I will integrate the electronic payment system and improve the algorithm with artificial intelligence. Of course, if this is the first time you are watching the video, I recommend you first watch the first part at this link, which I will place in this space. You click, you watch the first video to be able to understand the objective of our SAS and how we reached this stage, so the application. Today, we will try to set up a prompt that will improve the algorithm to match users. In our SAS, I remind you, we are developing an application similar to Tinder, and of course, the system. There we have practically completed all the steps. And the last step remaining for us is the integration of electronic payment with Stripe in our SAS. We will see in this video how to set up with Stripe our API, how to integrate it with our system to be able to add it to our software or in our SaaS. The possibility to give people the way to purchase packages, to be able to display profits and pay for slightly more advanced options. I'll see you in a moment and enjoy the training. Very well, so now we will try to move on to the next step. So this is the part where we will work on the matching system. So as a result, there is a swipe-based matching interface. So here it will simply scroll through the profiles. And of course, afterwards we can implement detection and interaction with those profiles. And then we want to develop the chat part to add an AI touch at the end. And then the payment system to sign up for options. So regarding this part, when I clicked here from the primary specification we launched for our application, it's true that it actually provided a description showing how the system will scroll through images and profiles, but there isn't a lot of information about it, so it's a bit broad, and this AI system will try to develop the system itself. So if I click here on start, you will see that it will give me a presentation, but it's not really well developed. Therefore, I would like to provide it with a bit more details here so that it can really create the system I'm looking for. That's why I'm simply going to create a print. Here, it's a print that I have prepared. This print is where I will request further development. The system of scrolling through profiles. There you go. And I thought, listen, we actually want to base it on the Tinder system. So this prompt, we are going to launch it here on Perplexity. And of course, I put it on Perplexity. I launch it as a pro model. I obviously activate the internet and you will see that it has called upon sources. As you will see, it tried to search a little on the internet how the scrolling is done. And the scrolling of images, therefore, will be, there you go, actually based on an algorithm behind it. But at first I will take a look at the description. You will see that the description here, it will go, there you go. We move forward on the notification part, on the part about score compatibility. But at the beginning, I don't want to do that because I have several steps here and I can do it in the other steps. So at the beginning, I want to focus well on the part interface, the part, therefore, mechanism. So let's say, therefore, I will copy this. So maybe, yes, we will give. So we will only take the information that interests us. We're not going to copy and paste everything. So here we'll put this. Okay. We'll also take the part. If you also want the part, how the profile will be displayed. That too is very interesting. So therefore, here we will put, we will put this. And here we will put capital B. We will also provide this information and maybe we can add just below the part. So we will go to the part. Here is the interface in the machine. So we can also give it. In fact, here is this information. So that too is very interesting. In any case, there are a lot of descriptions regarding how I want to scroll, but I won't copy everything. So look, even here on the algorithm side, we won't go too deep into the algorithm. we will stay just on the side. Design on the feasibility side of the function. So here, I come here and I will put, so here is the interface in the machine. We only have maybe that, there you go, take advantage. So there you go. I have put in the description a bit more information and details so that the system can have the maximum amount of information so that they can really develop this one. We can call it, there you go. And this we will call it from the machine interface side, actually user interface. So as a result, my system is ready. All I have to do is simply launch the action here. So there, let's try to launch very, very well. So there. It started, so normally we will come back. There you go. Here, of course, it goes into thinking mode to recap a little. Make the plan, make the steps. It will actually start developing, as you can see. So I will actually give it the necessary time to develop the code, set up everything that goes with the system. And then we will test and see the result, whether the result is good or not. We will leave it for a few minutes to finish all the programming. There you go. Oh, it just finished this step. Step 4. I can even click here to see the activity it did in step 4 below. Here it worked on the design to create photo, carousel, and it will simply create an animation when I try to switch between one profile and another. All of this, it even showed that it added buttons to like or skip profiles, or simply to like the profiles. So here we will deploy and test the result. We will try to connect with Gmail. I will take a Gmail account. Now we will test it. And there you go. I am connected with Gmail. I have this profile. In this profile, I filled in some information. I mentioned that it was male. I added 2 photos. I have some information. Of course, afterwards, it was necessary to further develop the section about, because if we are going to use AI to match, it's very important that we have the maximum amount of information. And here he is interested in women, and I have added some interests of this person. And also we can add, here is the information. So now the profile is good. So to test, we need to come back here to see how we can proceed to test. It tells me here to log into the application and click on Discover. So here, add a small Discover button. And then we should actually have the profile scrolling. So I will come back here. Yes, that's it. In fact, there is Discover here. So we will click. So he has prepared a space, as you can see there. It's a space that is ready, like the one from Tinder. In fact, when we open it on the application on PC, and it is well adapted actually, so that it is centered for mobile. That's good. So he took this space, and here I have a little bit of information to like, to add to favorites, or to move on to the next profile. So when I refresh, actually, it is not detecting. It's as if the system inside, or the algorithm inside, is not well implemented. Even though I tried to fill the database with some profiles, it still can't detect. So as a result, I have 2 ways to proceed. Either I move on to the next step and actually request to develop what we call the match detection part, or I can also work from there. Actually, the task of calling on AI so it can implement, in fact, the score based on ChatGPT on OpenAI. Exactly. So here I actually have the freedom to choose which one, because in these steps, I'm not obliged to follow in a sequential manner. So I can click on step 5, and there I see in step 5, create. So here it asks, in fact, to create a logic to match. So here it doesn't use AI, but instead it will create a very basic algorithm for the connection. I won't elaborate further on the description here. Why? Because the investment I'm going to make will be here in this part, where I will provide more details for the use of AI. So here, I can, at this stage, I think it's a step, let's say optional, because I can directly work on step 7. There is no specific order. I can go to 7, then go to 6, and 5, I might not do it. So afterwards, it all depends on your choice. Why am I telling you this? Because when you make your plan, you need to adapt it according to your specific needs. How do you see the application? Do you want to directly work on the AI and make the system operational? Duh. I think that's the most logical. Or simply, do you want to go step by step with the versions to test to see all the features and then make decisions gradually? So it all depends. Don't forget that you always have this button to add steps if you need to. You also always have the option, look, when I click, I can delete this step, as you can see here. I can simply delete it. So we don't have to go exactly to that step. You also have, in fact, this part here to actually discuss the plan. You will see when you click here, I will show you. In fact, there you go. It will give you a little recap of what it has done. And there you can start discussing with it to say, listen, step 5. I want you to delete it or leave it. Or you see, so there. There is actually the possibility to have discussions with the system to adapt these steps. There, if you want to use the AI, and I remind you that when you ask these kinds of questions, it will not consume any credit. So these are questions you can ask the system to rework the plan. So you can take your time to thoroughly discuss the plan. So here for us, we are doing a demonstration to explain how to do it and especially to understand your way, how you are going to work on your project. It's your project, you have your own specifications. So you will guide the AI to make decisions. So it's not simply you shouldn't just press play. To run through the steps, no. You can discuss the plan, change it, update it, adapt it, add tasks if necessary to achieve the ideal result. So here I can simply launch this step 5. So we'll give it time to run. And then maybe we can simply, according to our needs, either chat or go to the AI. What is really the most important function? Because for me, as soon as I started the project, it's the function that will be, there you go, more. The most compared to an existing function like Tinder's. So I use a much smarter algorithm to have an application that meets the market and tries to perform its function, which is matching using AI. So here I give it time to run and then of course we can test. And well, so here I see that it just finished the work. You see on the match list option actually. So we have deployed it. We will try to see the system together. So you will see here. It has actually created a match list. So here normally it should, when I click here, normally I am seeing the different profiles that might interest me. Of course, there are some improvements in terms of display, for example, here in terms of display. So information about the person, there is a small CSS issue, so that's a very simple thing. I can simply take a screenshot to display it. And here, to get the other profiles, either it didn't find the necessary information, meaning there might not be other profiles before or after, or simply there is an issue with doing, let's say, navigating through the different profiles. So I can improve that. So here we will try to take a screenshot in this space here. Okay, I actually like how it calculated the match, but we will improve it further. So regarding the CSS, I can come back here. Attach as files, so the bug actually. Regarding the CSS display, so here we will put the large photo of the screenshot we just took. Okay, and I can tell it. Here, for example, improve the design. The CSS. And I'm going to put there, of course, attach what the island, and that in fact, there you go. He will simply make the improvement. I can just as well click on annotate to perfectly select for him the display that wasn't right, for example. That is also good. So the name, age, and information of Encore maybe. We can start with that and afterwards. So I already see that and afterwards I can improve. In fact, this side, so of Implu, so that's the design side. So design side, functionality side, we can improve them later. We can, for example, there. I clicked on this like button, but it didn't give any result. I don't know if I go back to the home page here. We'll start over, for example, there. It's very interesting. In fact, the is also to them. He has the ability to perform the function. So regarding this task, I can take each functionality separately. I do the prints because I actually ask to improve them. So we'll wait a little while for it to finish. In fact, this design here, to see a little bit what it will look like on the design side. On the usage side of this functionality, once everything is well set up. At that moment, we can move on to the step 7. That's where we will improve the algorithmic side and the AI side. And there you go. So here we have improvements in terms of CSS. So he did all the work on the design side. And of course now, as a result, it is ready to deploy. So I deployed it and I look and I find that on the CSS side, it has improved a lot. So we have the name here, the age, the city, the country, and here the information. There is a bank here. There are still other improvements to be made, as you can see. I can maybe limit it here to display only, for example, 3 or 4, so it's not relevant. And I also like it when it displayed the match percentage. So far, it's very good. Of course, I can improve it. So on the improvement side, there are a lot of ideas and things we can ask this AI. You just simply need to write it here. So for me, right now, I will mark this step as completed, because I will rather move towards the part where I will work with, in fact, the interface with others. So here, it's very important for me. So then here, to match, I'm just looking at this part. We will also mark it, and actually, there you go. I'm now interested in working on the Yaya. So that's the part that is the most important. The internal chat development side, I can do it. I can leave it for later. But what is important right now, we have completed all 4 or 5 steps. So we have actually added the matching part. We have also done the detection of the matching list. Now, I want to work on the AI part. So if I look here, I see that it has, of course, called for the improvement of this algorithm, and it has called upon OpenAI API. This is what we have actually included in the use case. And so, apart from this information, I would like to add more details. Now, I will put it here. There you go. I will tell it that I want you to use the ChatGPT API and work with the O3 model. So, this is the model that is highly recommended for this type of connection. There is the O3 at high, which allows for reasoning and matching. And there I have, of course, given some indications regarding preferences so that it works on different patterns, and also localization. Regarding localization, I can certainly add the option for the user to accept so that the system detects their location. And that, of course, we can do by adding a whole step on that if we are interested. So, for me, before I start this work, be careful. I will go partly into sitting, and you will see that there are keys, in fact, that you can add here so that the system can simply reason in a significant way. So here we actually need to retrieve a secret key to put it here, in fact, so that it is recorded in an encrypted manner. This is very important. And for that, so that I can actually use OpenAI, you will type on Google OpenAI platform. You will find this link there. Of course, you can go directly to API keys. So here, I click here to go directly. Of course, you need to log in with your account. And there you go. I am logged in with my OpenAI account. I will go to the dashboard here. Then I will go directly to the section API keys. So here I will create a key just for this task. I will simply call it Tinder. It's just for testing. It will be a key just for making this video. But of course, when you create a key, you must not share this code, because this code must be a secret code. Because if someone retrieves it, they can simply use it and it will consume time. Balance on the OpenAI. So it's very important to keep it in a secure place. So for me, it's just for testing. So we created one that we will delete later. Of course, there, it will ask you to give a name to this variable. I will simply call it like this, OpenAI. So it will understand what it is about. And of course, before rather, we will put it here. This is my key, so it has the name. In fact, we will write it here, OpenAI. So this is the name, this is the value. And so as a result, I just added this system. When you see there, it has just been added, so it is well stored in my system. So consequently, this is another variable that interacts with another application. But be careful, you always have to give a name. So for example, for this one, I will delete it. So there you go, boys. That's actually why it doesn't work. The other variable I created. Okay. So anyway, we're not going to focus just on that. We'll get back to this one. This is the one that interests me. So consequently, we have worked with this key. So it will detect this key and it will use it in the system. So, of course, in the configuration, I can tell it to actually use the API configuration called OpenAI. So I can actually provide more information about this system. So we exit the setting. We come back here so I can specify, there you go, it's in this part. So here I can also specify the exact key that it must use for the system to function. So there, I can come and actually give it the key. But be careful, the key, it should not be displayed here because it needs to be secure. That's why we put it in the section settings so that it is really well hidden here. So, listen now, we are simply going to start this step. So here I click on this step and I press start. So as a result, you will see it will start doing the work. It will begin to improve my algorithm so that it simply uses the necessary information. By the way, we will see later if it has. So prepare everything, you fix everything. If it needs the key or if it can't find it, it will mention it here. So as a result, we will leave it for a few moments to run, to code, and afterwards we will try to test our output. Very well, so now it has just finished adding the artificial intelligence. We will try to deploy and see the result together. So now we will increase the size. Okay, so here we will start with the new match. So since this is a new profile, it hasn't been added to the list yet. So I click here to start the matching. So there you go, it is currently loading the different profiles. So here, it has actually given me a list, other profiles with a matching percentage. So this is actually based on a cross-referencing of information from the database using artificial intelligence. Of course, I will also have the possibility to further improve other features like the functionalities and capabilities to add to the list. Also, I noticed that it added a filter for me up here. So here as well, to apply a filter by theme. So after all, it needs to be tested and confirmed. In fact, will it work? What won't work? But what is very important for me is its update at the algorithm level, where it used an algorithm to actually improve the selection and display of these profiles. There, it actually matches with the person. So for me, in terms of features, I was able to reach the 7th. Of course, there is the feature there where I can do the work of selecting the different chats. Here, this too, I can run it if I want, but then it all depends on my specifications and my needs. And there is also the feature, which is very important, the Stripe one. The one that allows for the implementation of Stripe here. So when I click here, I see that it has set up for me that I want to set the subscription style. And there you go. So here we have set that we have a free new model mode, and we also have a pioneer mode. And regarding these features, I can simply launch. I will click here to initiate the request. And gradually, of course, it will ask me, what are the information in codes or APIs that I need to provide for them to function correctly? And don't forget, even before I launch the system, I can come here and I can ask it. For example, here, I will type how to integrate Stripe. So here I can just ask a question like that. And you will see, of course, when I ask these kinds of questions, if it doesn't actually perform the updates, it will give me the steps and provide more information. And that won't be impacted. In fact, it doesn't affect my tokens or my credits. So it will give me explanations on creating a Stripe account, how I retrieve the API key, and what information it will need to connect my application with my tool. So as a result, we will wait for the end of this of its drafting, because right now he is drafting it and afterwards we will try to launch. In fact, the Stripe option to add the payment system to my application. And so he just gave me the information. To create the Stripe account, he tells me first, you need to create a Stripe account on stripe.com. Then he asked me to actually retrieve the APIs from Stripe. Be careful, if you don't know how to do it, you can ask him to detail this step. After that, he tells me, listen, you need to store the information, these keys in the state, at the bottom, in the part called Secret Manager. And after that, he explains his work to me. So everything we will see from this step, step 2, is what he will do when he creates a new API. You will see that here, this is the front office part, how he will actually integrate electronic payments on the different pages. So here he is showing how, even on the sides, the pages that actually handle user registrations. So that's his part. As for me, even here, to update the status of users on their back office, when they log in, they can perfectly see their progress. In any case, there are all the details, but for me, what interests me must be just this first part here, to create a Stripe account and access to retrieve the API. So if I take an account Stripe, it's just for testing. So when I click on the part setting here, you will find that there is developer. So when you enter this developer section, there will actually be the possibility to create. So this is from look here. As soon as I enter, I activate the section. Developer at the bottom. So we will open it. And when I press here, there is the little point called API key. So that's what interests me. So now I will click here. And there you will find the public key. And there the secret key, of course, the secret key. You need to click here to simply unlock it. And so, as a result, you will have two pieces of information, the public key and the secret key. I just hid the information here, but you simply need to copy it, and we will paste it directly into our tab space. There, when I return to my system, I will click here on Settings. Here, in this space. So, we will go to Settings and then to Secret. And there we will add, in fact, the different pieces of information. So, at the value level there, I will actually copy and paste the information from the code, and be careful with the name here, new secret. I will do the same as him. So there, he asked me to select this. Stripe, publish key. So we will take this variable, we will write it here, look, and then we will set the value. So I will copy it. There you go. I just added it successfully. Of course, the code, it will be hidden like this, and now I add Stripe secret key. So this is the secret key. I copy it here, so I will go copy it as well. As you can see, it's so delicate. In fact, this key sends me a code on my application for security. To verify that it is indeed me who will retrieve the secret key from a paste, I will put it to be able to retrieve it quite simply. And there you go, it has just been added, as you can see here. So as a result, I now have the information regarding the public and secret key. That's all you need to do, so you won't need any other information. So now I will go back here to my page and I will simply go to activate Stripe. So here I have all the information, all the data, and therefore the system. It will then initiate the programming and creation of all the necessary pages and information to enable the possibility of doing electronic SME. And there you go. You will see it will obviously start developing, so I will leave it for a while. And we will mark this as completed. And so it is currently focusing on developing that part. So, of course, you need to give it a few moments to really program the electronic SME part on my application. So write to me in the comments if you want us to do one last part, where we will test the Stripe, the electronic payment, and swipe a credit card to verify proper functioning. And especially if you want us to host this application so that it becomes public, meaning making this application available to everyone, for anyone who simply wants to access the application and test it, what we call the final deployment of the application, putting the application online. So just write to me in the comments, put online. And that way, I will prepare a video for you where we will host this application and make it public.